We'd walk in, Seth would go, hey, how you doing, Phil? It's like, good, how are you? It's like, all right, here we go. It's raining sideways. Okay, one more, angrier. It's raining sideways. Cool, thank you.
You will not best me this day, vile henchman of our crew.
I wasn't cut out to be a bureaucrat anyway.
No, Blue, no, this is Coco.
Ollie, it's gonna rain.
I am confident you will make the right choice.
Hi, I'm Phil LaMarr. I'm a voice actor, known for the voice of Samurai Jack, characters on Futurama, Family Guy, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Mad TV, Justice League, or anything else you watched 15 years ago. And today, we're gonna be doing a little cartoon breakdown.
When I was 4, there was a hurricane in Kingston town with a foot and a half of water.
On the show Futurama, which is set in the year 3000, every company will have a certified bureaucrat. And my character, Hermes Conrad, is the certified bureaucrat of Planet Express.
Wow, you look happy. Is someone fired?
Better. The central bureaucracy is conducting an inspection tomorrow.
I first got involved with Futurama just auditioning. I think I was still working on Mad TV at Fox, came in along with hundreds of other people to audition for the guy who created The Simpsons. It was a little intimidating. It was tough trying to figure out where the character might be because it was a brand new show. We knew it wasn't The Simpsons, but that's all we knew. And I'm looking at the character and they're telling me he's, you know, a bureaucrat, an accountant. So I think I was doing just sort of, you know, this kind of voice. Yes, Fry, Professor, I'd like you to meet someone. This is Dr. Zoidberg. Then about 3 episodes in, the writers sort of realized that the Hermes character was fine, but they didn't really have anything that was working. And I remember Matt Groening coming up to me in the hallway and said, well, we just want to try something with Hermes. Can you do a Jamaican accent? I said, sure, I can do that. I auditioned for Cool Runnings, just like every other black man in 1980, whatever. Adding the accent gave the character another dimension, added depth, because all of a sudden, instead of just writing accountant jokes, they were writing Jamaican jokes, and then laying accountant stuff on top of them, like, okay, so what if he's sort of laid back, but not laid back at all? I think actually, had Matt not suggested that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I probably wouldn't have made it past episode 4.
This isn't supposed to be fun. We've got a job to do, and we will do it better without distractions, understood?
This was really a powerful, special moment for me, because I grew up as a comic book fan. It was wild to be the Green Lantern. I had seen Bruce Timm's work on Batman Beyond and knew the character designs and all that. And in terms of finding the voice, that was sort of easy to do, because the way he draws men, they got these little tiny legs and these great big chests. So you feel like everybody's got to have a deep voice. They talked about the characters like, well, you know, he was a Marine, he was from Detroit, and I'm like, oh, well, my dad's from Detroit. So I added a little bit of a level, sort of an homage to my dad, because my dad was like a, you know, sort of this, you know, smoky voice. So I wanted to put a little of that in there.
So it wasn't just, you know, I'm big hero. It was also a little bit of this, you know. The guy has, he's been somewhere. He's done some things, you know. My name is John Stewart, Green Lantern of Sector 2814.
And now here's Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather forecast. Ollie?
It's gonna rain.
I also play the part of Ollie Williams, the Blackie weather forecast weatherman on Family Guy. That's about the easiest job in show business, because he's got one line.
It's gonna rain!
That's it. I would come in to record, and Seth would be directing, and it would basically be a 30-second workday. We'd walk in, Seth would go, hey, how you doing, Phil? It's like, good, how are you? It's like, all right, here we go.
It's raining sideways!
Okay, one more, angrier.
It's raining sideways!
Cool, thank you.
Let's go live to Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather report. Ollie?
It's raining sideways.
Sounds rough, Ollie.
There have been a few times where you stretch it out a little bit, the time that they cut to Ollie and he was high.
How's the weather look, Ollie?
Not too bad.
But generally speaking, it's a very nicely self-contained joke.
Aku!
I've been really lucky to work with some of the most creative people of the last 20 years. Seth MacFarlane, Bruce Timm, Quentin Tarantino.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
And Genndy Tartakovsky is definitely among that pantheon. He did something with that cartoon that had never been seen in American animation. The first episode has 9.5 minutes of silence, which was unheard of in children's animation on Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, all those shows. Everything was about, we're all talking, we're talking. No, he said, I want a show that has action.
No, it cannot be.
It also tells a story with everything at our disposal, not just words, music, sound, color. And it was also, I think, groundbreaking in that the characters had no black outlines, which at the time nobody did. We sat down in the booth and Genndy was there, and just sort of, you work back and forth with the creator to try to find the voice that he's hearing in his head. The only reason he had an accent was to tie him to his roots and to honor that he was coming from ancient Japan. And it was interesting because a few years before, I was part of a comedy group that was predominantly Japanese, called Cold Tofu. A lot of the folks in the group were, you know, first or second generation Japanese Americans who had grown up hearing Japanese. And I noticed that they had not an accent so much as just a way of speaking, which is like, oh, this is how you speak English if you're hearing Japanese at the same time you're hearing English. So instead, we had a little bit of the accent. They were just simply words that he would say in a way that he had heard something differently growing up than you had.
I'm home. I'm alive.
Virgil was a 14-year-old boy in the city of Dakota who accidentally gets superpowers and then becomes a hero. But at the same time, he's also a 14-year-old boy, so he's got to go to school, he's got to finish his homework, he's got to deal with his annoying sister.
Since when does your narrow behind play football at all?
Who asked you, Miss Nosy?
And fight for what's right. That was actually my very first show where I was the main character. And it was the first time that a teenage African-American superhero was the star of his own cartoon. As a comic book person, you know, growing up, reading mostly stories that didn't reflect my life, it was so amazing to actually be part of something that did. And Dennis Cowan and Alan Burnett and Dwayne McDuffie, all of the creators, were so great about making it good stories first and also dealing with things that actually mattered. The show won a Humanitas Award for an episode we did about guns in school. They did these great stories that were fun and exciting, but somehow grounded in something that felt real. So it wasn't like, this is a very special episode.
No, it was just Virgil dealing with the stuff in his life. You know, because, you know, I'm a city kid, and this is sort of things that happen.
But he had electrical powers.
Please welcome Bolbi Stroganovsky.
Hello, fellow learners. Call me Bolbi.
I also did the voice of Bolbi Stroganovsky on the Jimmy Neutron cartoon, which is weird beyond weird. It's a great show, and they had been going for a while before they brought me in to play that character. I think I played maybe a couple other characters, but that's the one that people still remember to this day.
Bolbi is just strange and weird.
And that's all, that's really it.
Slap, 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 clap, 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 slap, 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 clap.
Basically, my whole point was to try to make Jed and the producers on the other side of the glass crack up. Because we didn't, all they knew was just like, well, he's the weird kid at the school. And he's from like a weird foreign country.
Oh, you mean that Bolbi is from a country where they worship giant space rocks?
I just went as goofy and as crazy as I could. And it worked.
And many Atlanteans were injured, but it could have been far worse.
In playing the part of Aquaman on Young Justice, that was a really sort of interesting path. Because originally, I auditioned for Aqualad, because that was one of the main heroes in Young Justice, and didn't get it. Then, of course, I heard what my buddy Kari Payton did, and I was like, oh, dang. No, that's it. If I had heard mine and his, I would have fired me and hired him. Greg Weisman, the creator, threw me a bone, said, okay, we're gonna make you Aquaman. I'm like, oh, I get to be Black Aquaman. Nope, nope. Regular Aquaman. Oh, okay.
Kaire Calderon.
On Young Justice, they managed to do something that nobody had been able to do for 40 years. Which was make Aquaman cool. He was always the afterthought. Until this. They sort of recast him as regal. He was the king of Atlantis. And it's like, oh, right. If you're the king of the ocean, you're kind of the king of 75% of the world. That's power. And you saw from that point on that versions of Aquaman suddenly were grounded and cool. And then you get to Jason Momoa and like, oh, now he's sexy. You know?
Get out!
That is Duchess. She thinks she's the best idea ever thought of.
I also played the part of Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And Wilt was the sweetest character. That whole show was about little kids' imaginary friends and where they go when the kids grow too old for them. So it was this whole house, and we all were created by little kids. And Wilt's creator was basically Michael Jordan as a little boy. And he created a basketball-playing imaginary friend. But then, once, he started getting scouted, he didn't have room for that. So, Wilt was just, sorry, is that okay? So much fun playing a sweet, sweet character, and such a great, just heartfelt show. It was created by Craig McCracken, who did Powerpuff Girls, and Lauren Faust before she went on to do My Little Pony. So, they're no slackers.
You must bring the ship in. The only way we can stop...
I got to be part of the Star Wars universe for the first time, playing the role of the Jedi Kit Fisto, which was not a new character. It had been introduced in the Attack of the Clones, but never spoke in the live-action movie. And so when they brought the character into the animated world, he had a voice. And I guess George Lucas had the idea that the aquatic aliens should all have some sort of island Caribbean flavor. So that's where the idea of Kit Fisto having a sort of island accent came from. And to me, he's great because he's the Jedi who smiles. He is not afraid to take off his shirt. You'll never see Obi-Wan Kenobi do that. But I'm in the water, so it makes sense. As anybody who grew up in the 70s, to be a Jedi is so cool. Even though I'm just the voice of one. One of the interesting things about voice acting is it's different from on-camera acting as movie acting is from stage acting. What you're doing at the core is all the same. You're taking some imaginary circumstance and trying to make it real for an audience. You have to look at those words on the page and instantly
make it come to life.
I'm Phil LaMarr, and this has been my Cartoon Breakdown.